couple of words about myself. I work for international fintech company Twino, which is a P2P lending platform, as a regional manager of Asia. And I've done my PhD in marketing. My thesis was evaluation of website layouts on customer buying behaviors. That was actually like the first time I touched the data tracking of websites, how the customers are behaving. And from that point, I was actively involved in lecturing practice, experience, and I mentored maybe around like hundreds of startups during my whole experience. And now with armed all of this experience and whatever issues Georgian startups are facing, I will be happy to share with you and of course equip you with some on-site knowledge. So let's start how to launch data analytics at your place with or without data team. As we know, the biggest challenge is to launch the operations for the startups. And the analytic operations is not something that you can copy paste or find a tool that it's like a wizard or magical one. You need to have a certain amount of understanding of how your business is running before you will implement all of those tools into your company. And can you imagine that in the era of 21st century, still more than half of the companies around the world still are relying on CEO provided data analytics. So it's more likely to compare now international and Georgian local experience. It's quite like frequent in Georgia, where the director is telling you, this is my data, and here you need to rely on that data, and there is no such an evidence as the director is telling you. But don't think that it's only happening in Georgia, it's happening also in international wise, where the data hasn't been that much expanded, and that's why the data-driven companies are of course rising, but still there is an adoption phase, let's say so. And that's why not only small companies, but even big companies are struggling to become data-driven. It might take like months, several months, or even up to a year to find the data scientists, to define what kind of data inflows and outflows that the organization is doing. And that's why mostly the startups here are confused what to do and how to proceed. But I have a good news for you that with the modern technologies and modern tools, it's becoming even easier and of course like accessible for any type of organization to take a baby steps towards achieving your main goal to become a data-driven. So data analytics are important for a lot of reasons. And of course, this list provided is not something that here I would have stopped, but I gathered some of them that are utterly necessary, the benefits that it's bringing. Without data, when you are entering into some business environment, doesn't matter, you are issuing a product or service, it's like going blindly into a forest without navigating, and you are just told that you need to get out from this forest. Of course, with the proper indications, proper information, and proper navigation, you might be lost. And you need to know that 88% of data is ignored by the businesses. Can you imagine that all of these facilities, if you are utilizing in your business decisions, how well you will be equipped to outreach the competition, to make your products more benefits, more features, to be more customer-centric. So of course, all of these parts cannot be done without the proper understanding what are the inflows of the data in your company. And that's why when we are talking about the benefits of the data analytics, it's bringing you a simple framework of how to launch your startup. We will be also talking about how to set a proper goals in organization, and not something like I will be bringing you some examples that are KPIs of like traffic or measuring some number of the visitors that are not bringing anything to you other than focusing on real KPIs that are conversion rates, which sources are driving the sales, and etc. So we will be discussing how to define the business goals into a proper manner rather than just measuring something that should not be measured or not paid attention at all. Also, we will be talking about how to get the modern data stack within the organizations, and I will be explaining step by step from the early adoption stage of your business startups to the final growth stage. And of course, we cannot forget how to do and what is the most important is the setup, the proper data governance. The questions mostly my students or the startuppers are asking, like, do we really need data analytics? So, and then I'm facing like two different types of entrepreneurs. That one is telling that, if we had more money and if we had some more employees and we would have analyzed it more properly, and they're complaining. So there is like thousands of reasons why not to use data. And when I'm asking like, okay, then how you are scaling up your business, what's your next plans, how you are defining your sustainability of your business, they're like, well, we are working on the products right now, and then we're gonna see next year we will go on a regional level. Okay, then if you're working on the product, what are the parameters you are using or measuring? Maybe like you will give me some basic KPIs or maybe some data. Sales, okay, great, but how you are working on those sales? Like who is the main generator? What are the main sources of the sales? Well, we have a partner. This partner is really good. And mostly like these type of startups, after a year, throughout my experience, they're failing. And then they're questioning why. The idea was brilliant. We should not have failed. Of course, the idea was brilliant, but the key was about how to sustain your business, how to continue growing, because maybe the kid is brilliant, but it might grow absolutely in a different direction, right? So if you do not have a possible strategy how to do it, then of course it's destined for the failure. And the next ones of the entrepreneurs are like admirers. I'm calling them like secret admirers of the data. Yeah, I value the data is brilliant. We should use it. Yeah, I completely agree, but it's not my priority right now. So they're like always postponing, although they are appreciating your effort to tell them that, at this stage, maybe you should just switch to SQL, or maybe you should already design some pipelines of data into your Yeah, I understand, but I'm good. Right now, I'm quite confident that my return on investment is quite good. What does it mean good? Okay, you might have like, I don't know, a revenue of 100K per year or $1 million. You might be happy because you have money, but you might be on the other side of the story because potentially this indicator can be the lowest at your potential and at your opportunity. So saying that something XYZ number is good is only evidenced by the data and only evidenced by the market, by the competition. What are the others are doing? What are the customers' feedbacks are coming throughout your data, the product or services. And if you are claiming that this is good because you are happy just by having a money inflow in the company, this is a wrong approach. So as soon as the companies are postponing this early adoption of the data analytics, it's becoming absolutely off the road, and you are just driving off road all the time. And the top priority of the startuppers is always like kind of focusing on revenue, and the data analytics is never in their roadmaps. Well, I'm not saying like it's never, but I mean like in a minority times, it's not in their priorities. And throughout the history, the main barriers are like time, lack of finances, team capabilities, and etc. And that's why here I grabbed the main excuse, the lack of team. And that's why I collected today lots of tools for you to disclose that actually you can build data-driven company without even data team at all. But of course, it needs like baby steps and baby adoption of this. So the benefits of data analytics is that you will understand how your customers are navigating on your website, what they are liking, what's their behavior, even on your mobile application. Doesn't matter, it's a product, service. You need to know what's your customer is actually doing. You will be running and tracking the tests continuously, like to optimize all of this performance, because you should understand whatever it's in your concern or maybe the decision, always test, always make A/B testing. It's not something out of the business story. You should be always having plan A, plan B that should be tested. And of course, without some sources of testing, it's impossible to measure, right? When we are talking about the personalization and improving of the customer experience, of course, those are the tools to track your customer experience by building up the systems that are personalizing your focuses on the customers, right? And then, of course, streamlining to support your efficient workflow. Also impossible without data. You will develop new features of the product that are out of directors' best gut feelings. And also, when we are talking about expanding to regional markets or outside of local market, again, you need data-driven decisions, and not because the director is ready to move forward. And sooner you do, of course, the better you will be there in your customer-centric decisions. And the most of the time, when startuppers are also asking me, what is the biggest hazard for any startup? This is conventional wisdom. What is a conventional wisdom? It's a generally accepted theories. I believe in something, or some business has done this proper way and it worked. But it doesn't automatically mean that it will work on your business. You should know that if something works for others, or if someone is using some possibilities, doesn't automatically mean that it will work for you. So avoid conventional wisdom in your life and also in your startups, because this is something that it's leading to failure. These, I would say, not tested theories. So here we can start with the 3 steps to launch data analytics at your startups. And let's start from the very basic ones, which are, of course, establishing and starting with your business goals. So to get started, think about general goals that your business might have. And it's might not be even correlated with the business data. So you can just consider how the data can be used to inform and reach those goals. Examples are, for example, define your value proposition, maybe improve your product quality, or increase sales by 20%. So you need to list what are your general business goals before we will move into building some data. Only afterwards, you will be able to think about, by knowing what kind of decisions you want to reach, only afterwards you are going to invest in creating data strategies. So what does it mean? So it's quite frequent that I will tell you some stories from local side and then international side. So there is a marketing team, there is a sales team, and there is accountancy or financial department, right? And they have some fragmented information, like accountancy team is responsible for sales numbers, the marketing is launching campaigns, and sales are driving the leads. And in most cases, I can bet you that in 80%, all of this information is fragmented. One, the accountancy or finance department is working with FINA or ORIS or something. Marketing department is happy with launching some meta products, Facebook ads, Instagram, etc., and sales team is sitting in a best way with CRM and having a leads generation, and they are receiving the leads, or blindly they are receiving the leads and they are connecting and driving the sales. And when in such an ununified situation and environment, company is reaching some sales targets, this is miracle. nothing to do with data-driven business, because none of the department is intercorrelated with each other, and they do not know how each one of their action is actually intercorrelated with each other, or which function is actually efficient. And imagine, like, in this defragmented situation, and we can add like lots of departments, like logistics department, we can add even risk department, legal department that has no idea what's happening in the other business operations. So this is the classical version of absence of data strategy. So the company has no understanding about the inflows. The company has no basic even connecting points within the organization. And each department has their own KPIs, their own mind, and their own world. And sometimes even they are meeting each other on corporate parties and they do not know even who they are. So this is quite frequent situation. And that's why when we are talking about what to see, the best, I would say, tool is entity relationship diagram. So what is entity relationship diagram, ERD? I took from internet sales model that in that scenario, you are able to make some helicopter view over your company and define the processes that are driving data sources. So imagine in this state in internet sales, you have a customer here, right? So in customer, you have, can I show with laser? I guess no, but if it's enough. So imagine here you have a customer. The customer is driving so many variables in the organization, like its name, address, phone, location, and etc. Even if we are not tracking this customer, imagine when we are launching a mobile application or through the web, in that scenario, this is happening what? So I'm giving you my location, I'm giving you my IP address, I'm giving you my device, I'm giving you my geographical area, I'm giving you my name, I'm giving you my, if it's of course payment gateways also inserted, I'm giving you data about my transactions. So basically, I'm giving you lots of information to provide a complete profile about me, right? But sometimes this information is absolutely neglected. Then we are going towards the order, information about the item. You are receiving name, price, color, category, pattern, I don't know, like all kinds of information. But sometimes we are forgetting that they are not matching this data, that what kind of items, for example, are the most demandful in my inventory. Nobody knows. They're like, well, I'm quite happy with my sales because I sold these numbers, I reached these sales, and my like net profit is this one. Great, but what about forecasting about your next warehouse? How to fill up your inventory? Without data science, impossible to answer. Next, we are going towards the credit card. You have verification, you have shipping, you know the geolocation, you know where it's going, where is the most, for example, you can combine two data, which type of items are mostly requested on Saburtalo district or Wage district, or which kind of items are bought by XYZ segment. So this is something that CRM, customer relationship management, is doing for you. But unfortunately, sometimes, but most of the times, it's neglected. Then you have the order, you have order numbers, you have shopping cart, you have the company, you have all kinds of, I would say, visible situation, whatever is driving towards the more efficient sales forces. Is it me making a hurricane? I guess it's this. So, and mostly when we are speaking about how to do it and how to imagine all of these issues, do it. Entity relationship diagram. It's quite easy in terms of building up, but really tough to dig into your business. And if you really, really want to achieve some basic understanding of what kind of data is circulating within my business, start with entity relationship diagram, and you will be wondering how many sources are actually providing quite important data into your organization. And with these shapes like entity, action, and attribute, those are stationary ones, and the actions are something that are connecting two different entities. The next one is Startup Founders Guide. So, no, it's actually not from me, it's from upstairs. So, the Startup Founders Guide is collection of everything that I want to explain. So I will be defining what you should do, and then also what you should not do as a startupper. So let's start from the founding stage, which is you are very, very little, 0 to 10 employees, or you are just one employee, just entrepreneur. That is believing that you don't have resources. It's not time right now to implement data, or you have a plenty of, I don't know, reasons not to do. So, okay, I have a good news for you. For such people, first of all, please implement Google Analytics through Google Tag Manager. If you have a website, you need to go register on the Google Tag Manager. You will receive analytics code. You will implement on your header, and at least start tracking your website visitors, because it's quite a good tool in order to somehow understand who are your customers, what they are doing, how they like basic conversion rates, and moreover, even if it's e-commerce, you will be understanding like what sources and mediums are driving towards your sales, and etc. Also, there is a tool called Mixpanel, which is helping you to convert, to engage, and retain customers. And it's quite cheap in terms of like to compare the value it brings, and nothing to do with some cool, like out-of-the-art solutions. And this Mixpanel is giving you the insights, what to make better, and they are giving you the tips how to make actually your conversions or your engagement rates better. Also, for financial reporting, if you do not have anything, I can suggest you to use QuickBooks or Baremetrics. Those are the tools that will give you the insight about the accountancy tools, and also Baremetrics will give you the basic measurements of how to run businesses. Of course, I understand that at this stage, it's impossible, of course, to reach to the point that you need some fancy data warehouse or something, but at least start with this. In that stage, I will show you what you should not do. At the founding stage, do not let someone to sell a data warehouse or business intelligence platform or some consulting projects. You are not ready, so abandon. If someone is coming to you and telling you that right now we need to start implementing like powerful BI tools or creating like machine learning, forget about it. It's because you don't have even the smallest understanding how your data is working within the organization. So remember, at the founding stage, you need basic tools to focus on product. So your main goal at this stage should be somehow to reach the level where your product features are ready to scale up. And the most important, you are having a brilliant tools of becoming customer-centric business. And after shifting from the founding stage towards the very early stage, which is like 10 to 20 employees, you are starting building reporting capabilities. It may be like service as a system, products, but don't forget to start tracking your events. What does it mean? If you are running a campaign through your Google Analytics, you should add UTM code to any campaign that you are actually like running through your digital tools. And this is the basic understanding to understand what are the main sources and what are the main benefits of using these certain patterns into your digital marketing channels. So I'm going to give you a rough example. For example, in fintech, we are 60% of our sales are driving from the affiliate marketing. Those are the publishers, the gathering of the publishers who are putting our banners, maybe email marketing or SMS or any campaigns they are running and delivering leads. So when we are evaluating the proper quality of these type of leads, we are always measuring the outperformance towards how much loans we disbursed and versus also comparing what was the bad rate. So if you do not have a brief understanding how to evaluate the quality of the lead that has been already reached to your platform, then you need to develop and think about how to measure that lead properly. So quality lead means not a person who visited your website, not a person who clicked on your product. Rather, the quality lead is someone who is actually almost is reaching to the point to buy your product. So in our scenario, for example, a person who wants to take a loan, the quality lead is someone who has registered to actually take a loan, right? And not someone who just visited a website out of nowhere. And when we are tracking through the system, it might be a UTM code, it might be a dynamic token that it's connecting a company towards the B or API protocol. We are always focusing on what kind of quality the lead that brought. And only afterwards, when we are tracking all of these systems, we are understanding that this specific source has to be blocked. For example, if I see that all of these registrations are dumb, meaning that we cannot issue loan, and we are no longer or those customers are no longer available to pay back for that loan, what we are doing, we are blocking such mediums. So without understanding which sources are bringing to you quality leads, you will be always focusing on traffic. And focusing on traffic only, this is something that startups should avoid, because this is something that you will be always happy about the numbers. I have a reach, I have an impression, I have this amount of visitors, so what? Show me the conversion rates, show me the quality leads, show me the sources and mediums that are actually making to retain your customers. How many returning customers do you have? What is the lifetime value of the customers? Those are the questions where mostly the businesses are opening their mouths. I don't know, but I have likes. Great. Likes are bringing sales. That's, I don't know, even 19's joke, right? So no, likes, traffic, I don't know, reach, engagement. It's not bringing anything. You should focus on something maybe very, very small, detailed, but quality to bring something actionable, tangible, and of course, measurable, and not something that mostly the businesses are using to track their marketing facilities. So in that scenario, when you are moved into a very early stage of adoption of the digital tools, you can use Salesforce for your CRM. Why? Because without tracking your customers, building up the source of your customer database, you will be losing those leads. And when you are losing a lead, that means that doesn't matter this cost was maybe CPC cost per click or per acquisition was $2 or $7, you lost potential customer to whom you can once again address, once again ask for your product to purchase. You potentially lost your future brand ambassador who would have driven more sales through other references. So that means that without declaring what kind of people entered onto your mobile application or website, you are not able to reconnect with them. So I would have suggested at this stage to use Salesforce for building up your CRM. And whatever is my favorite tool, this is Wootrick, tracking net proportion score, which is actually like asking your customers about the feedback. And this is how you are measuring the satisfactory level through your customers. So all of those tools are also, again, not very expensive to do. And now let's move to don'ts at very early stage. Again, very early for data warehouse and for SQL-based data analytics. Again, forget about that. You are at very early stage to adopt big databases. Let's go to the next stage, which is early stage. You are reaching around like 20 to 50 employees. Now you are understanding that how your sales are driven, what are your quality leads, which mediums you are using. You already actually reached to the point that your product is quite well defined. You are outperforming your competition, and customers are quite happy with your product. Great. Now we can say that you are already on an early stage of your startup. That means that you can already set up data infrastructure, and at this stage, you can hire data analytics, but junior level, not something like quite market talented, because it will cost you a lot. So what you are doing, you are starting building a data warehouse. What is a data warehouse? It's the point where you are collecting lots of raw data. You are transforming those data into an ETL pipelines. I will explain later how to do it. And then you are receiving actionable information that you are translating into decisions. So at this stage, you can use Snowflake. That is a great tool of building your first data warehouse. And it will help you somehow to manage how to tackle your very, very raw material data. And ETL tool. ETL is extract, transform, and load, which is like the tool that it's giving you the possibility to make a pipeline of the information that it's inflowing and transforming into the actionable data. The name of this tool is Stitch. Quite like easy, user-friendly, and I can tell you that even the non-data scientist or someone who is not understanding anything about data can easily adopt this tool. Don't forget about business intelligence tool as well. Business intelligence tools are a lot, but one of my favorite is Mode, because for early startuppers, it's quite easy to track. So basically, you are managing all of your information into one dashboard, and this dashboard is showing you where you are, how you are running, and etc. There are lots of business intelligence tools like Power BI, like ClickView, and etc. But this one is one of my favorites, and I'm always asking for startups to adopt this one because this is quite easy to set up and see. So why we need dashboards? Why we need this business intelligence? Maybe you have a questions like why this lady is standing now and explaining to us like you should do this, you should do that. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So imagine that some of the businesses have no idea, maybe until the end of month or until the end of week or even until the end of the next day, how they performed. Can you imagine that without like demonstrating on a minute-wise, hourly-wise, how your business is performing, you are potentially losing lots of money. Let me give you an example. So for example, your sales target is 1 million euro per year. Then we are chopping down and we are having a quarterly like sales target, 300,000 to reach. Then we are chopping down to daily ones. And imagine that your daily target is reaching to, I don't know, like sell something for 20,000 K. Let's say so. Doesn't matter, it's a service, product, or what. And you don't have basic understanding about how the business is going out. You don't have dashboard, and Again, in the departments of legal department is working on its own, risk department on its own, financial manager is happy, and the marketings are creating some campaigns, very creative campaigns. So imagine in that type of alignment where you do not have like combination of dashboards, you are again blind without measuring how my business is performing right now at this minute. And imagine that on that day, somehow sales are not coming. So it might be maybe, I don't know, the reason might be lots starting from maybe your competitors are having a better campaigns or better offer. Maybe you have technical bug on website. Who is responsible? IT guy, right? So where is the IT guy? He's smoking or drinking the coffee? Yes, because he has no understanding what's happening, if it has technical bug or not. So there is no dashboard in the company. Okay, then how the campaigns are running in the marketing? Are they measuring like the competition on the market? They don't know, because again, they do not have anything to track, anything to measure, anything to follow up. Then again, the finance department is of course like receiving some basic information, but has no idea what are the sales targets. So he's happy with the numbers. So can you understand like what's happening in the organization where there is no business intelligence? Complete blindness, right? So, and that's why when we are speaking about Mode or Power BI or ClickView, this is something that each department, each concrete people are watching, that, okay, if I'm failing right now, I should act. The IT should be responsible for checking if there is a technical bug. Marketing department should check maybe there is a competition is rising, or maybe my campaigns are not leading to quality leads. Maybe my campaigns are downsizing. Maybe my efforts in the data, the digital marketing is not quite effective, and et cetera, et cetera. But what I want to convey with this message is the following, that you should know what are the pitfalls at your organization. And without the dashboards, impossible to track anything. So in early stage, do not build your own ETL pipelines. Everything is available to buy off-the-shelf ones, and don't use traditional database like Postgres. I will tell you why. Because later, if you become more like machine learning centric or artificial intelligence using into your decisions, then you will be badly frustrated that I should have used the other database. So this is the don'ts at early stage. And the once you are doing all of these kind of measurements, you are moving to the mid stage. What is the mid stage? This is basically something that everyone is thinking that we should start from here. So all these startups are thinking that all of those stages is nothing to do. So this is the mid stage where they are feeling to move forward. And I want to understand that before moving towards implementing SQL-based data modeling or migrating more robust web analytics or tackling more forecasting challenges, you need to go through all of these changes. And do you know how much time it takes approximately? Around 2 years. So all of these steps that I'm naming you, based on my experience, based on like statistics, it's around 1.5 years and 2 years. Why? Because you are adopting, you need to monitor. You need to monitor the performance, and only afterwards, then you are deciding whether or not it's quite adoptable for your business or not. And that's why when we are moving towards the mid stage, meaning like forecasting, then you are starting actually working with open sources of the databases, like building up some sources that are figuring out in your company what actually makes the transformation into your data. So, but at this stage, again, do not invest in heavy data infrastructure, because still it's in a mid stage, you are still not able to track fully and spend a lot of money that this type of infrastructure is requesting. And the final stage, which is like growth stage, units, you are reaching already 150 people up to 500. you are starting data testing, you are implementing requests, code reviews, documentations, and etc. So most of the time, there is this kind of environment. You are having a data inflow, you are implementing, you are testing, you are sending out whatever is more efficient, and these iterations are causing some models, data models that are quite efficient for your company. What you should not do is don't accept excuses. Here at this stage, there will be lots of excuses from a data analytics team or marketing team. Well, we have done this, we don't need, or etc., etc. But remember that all of those excuses will not lead you to the point to adopt quite efficient decisions. The next one is how to develop your modern data stack. So this is the theme where I want to explain to you how it works and what are the main points of when we are collecting or transforming or activating our data. Mostly this is ELT pipelines, extract, load, and transform. So when we are extracting the data, doesn't matter. It might be some API. It might be some service as a system. It might be, I don't know, some Google Analytics. It might be any kind of point or platform that is giving you something tangible. You need to extract. But in order to centralize, these ELT pipelines are giving you the possibility to centralize your data into the warehouse. So just to imagine the process, if you do not have those pipelines built into your system, then it will be scattered because there are the loads of data that should be focusing on something that is tangible. Then you are building your data warehouse where your data is stored, cleaned, centralized, everything is organized, structured, and etc. And I'm going to give you the examples. Again, don't forget to buy off-the-shelf Stitch or Fivetran or these type of solutions. So imagine that my business goal in terms of like and disbursing the loans, again, to come back to the fintech examples, to minimize the fraud. This is one of the main challenge. And so, as I have told you, we have loads of data coming from customer only. So the customer is giving me like 17 variables that are visible and 250 variables that are not visible to the customer. Yes, that's the face I was having when I first heard about that. So what we are collecting, this is like website tracking systems like Hotjar. We are using this Stitch as well. So data gathering, huge pipelines that are measuring how much time you spend per field. How you were, for example, filling up your financial credentials. So we are asking there, please declare your like payroll, right? And there is an automatic calculator that when you are typing your payroll that you have, for example, 2,000 lari, it's giving you PTI coefficient, like how much money you are available to take based on PTI coefficient. So, and when someone is like typing 2,000, then erasing, then typing 3,000, then erasing, then typing like 4,000 to adjust the money they want, do you know what we are doing? We are recording. So we know what you have done last summer. And it's not something that in an ordinary manner, if we have missed this type of data, we would have never understood what is the fraud detection analytics. So when we are speaking about fraud detection, it's something that it's actionable and it's making, collecting all this type of data. Also, we have KYC, which is like a mandatory to do for all kinds of financial institutions, whether it's in Georgia or elsewhere. So you need to upload your ID. And when you are uploading your ID, somehow you are indicating a credit card, which is not yours. Okay, first fraud, right? Thank you very much. So we are not disbursing money because it doesn't belong to you. And how we are matching, I'm going through the API with the bank or financial service provider, and then we are matching if this person, so through API, we are receiving a signal that this client is not in my database. Okay, so that means that this guy has stolen card or stolen ID and wants to take a loan and kick out that person, which is like potential fraud already. Also, another issue, we are making like a correlation matrix of the data that it's coming from different, for example, geographical and numerical sources. So you know that data are numerical and categorical, right? So numerals, phone numbers. We have seen some pattern that certain amount of mobile operators are more inclined to fraud. So just to imagine in Georgia that, for example, Beeline customers are more fraudsters rather than Geocell, right? So all of this categorized and labeled data is stored in our main warehouse, and we are making these correlations. We are making a factoring analysis, and of course, by factoring analysis, we are leading to cluster analysis, and then we are defining what are the correlation between variable A and variable B. And if we see the pattern that out of, I don't know, million numbers, this is a pattern that mostly this mobile operator is inclined towards more fraud, that means that straightforward, we are maybe not red flagging, but decreasing the weighted average of these type of persons. So they need more proof somehow to go through the registration and demonstrate that they are capable to return money. Also, another point, geographical areas. Lots of people are struggling to indicate correctly their address. And without like Google plugin, trust me, you will have loads of unclear data. And this is something that any data analytics are hating, because the data needs cleansing, first of all, labeling, and then storing into the data warehouse. So, and imagine if you are allowing your customers to already make a mistake at inserting their own information, then you are having a more headache to cleanse such a data. So I would say that in that scenario, what you need to avoid is any potential mistakes. Same goes with the declaring your payroll. Imagine there are, in our case, we have like 7 countries, and some of the countries are having quite inflated currency rates, which are like 5 digits or 6 digits. For example, in Philippines, there is a Philippine peso, and average salary is 50,000. Imagine when these people are declaring their salaries, they do not know how to correctly write the nulls. Or sometimes, yes, it's happening. And so what we have done, the solution was to make, with the commas, we have separated the field where you need to declare your salary, the numbers and digits with commas, just for them to understand that it's a 50,000 and not 5,000 or 500,000 or 5 billion. So this is something that you are sacrificing if you do not have an analytics tools. And if you are not recording, if you are not measuring, if you are not going through all of these issues, and do you know how much it would have cost for the company if we have not changed? Couple of million euros it would have cost if we have just like happily looked at just Google Analytics. So now define like where is your business and how to actually make all of this information actionable, and what kind of tools and what kind of data warehouse you need to build in your company. And then when you are sending back and transforming all of this data into an actionable stack, then actually you are reaching to more actionable points. So just to imagine like how it looks like is that all of these sources, millions of platforms, I don't know, you can be happy with having an integration with lots of platforms, starting with Infusion, Google Analytics, this Salesforce, CRM, and etc. Lots. Then, of course, databases, then cloud storages. And here we are having this already well-known ELT and ETL, so extract, transform, load, or vice versa, solutions that goes into your data warehouse. And then what's happening? We have actionable BI tools, so we see. So I'm sitting, I'm looking at the monitor, and I'm looking how my business is performing based on a mix of all of these variables, which you can agree that it's quite important, first of all, and impossible to track if you do not have such an infrastructure into your company. And don't forget to establish your data governance, because in order to keep your data accurate, reliable, secure, you need to invest in data governance and always clear the KPIs. So every time you are reaching some milestones, you should not forget that those milestones are transformable. You need to always clear the ownership, building the changes, approval flows, and etc. And here I collected for you, like, let's say, a manual of identified digital tools that can be a subject of your happiness if you are a startup. So with CRM, here I have listed 3 tools, but as you see that some of the tools are free up to a certain number of users, which is HubSpot, Bittrex, Fresh Sales, absolutely enough for early adopters. We have a paid tools here, Strake, Salesforce, Pipedrive. So what are the main differences? I guess you have already into your mind. Some sector-specific plugins, some sector-specific like segments are restricted in free tools. And if you are advancing and if you are paying, which is also not quite expensive, you are going into more comprehensive CRM tools. If you have e-commerce, of course, you will need order management system. Hydra or Ordant is the perfect solution for free one. It will make your, so first of all, you are showing let's say the operations wise, you are inserting your order QRs, you are inserting the order numbers, and then it's automatically making it actionable. OnProft and Softeon are paid tools. What are the main differences? Is that one of that, for example, the paid tools are having a built-in analytics, and those basic ones, they are quite automatic and they are quite limited in terms of actions. Accounting software, if you do not have anything, it's ZipBooks, Wave Apps, and mostly in Georgia we have like a paid ones. It's not Sage, it's like Oris, this is Fina, and Microsoft Navision or any like this type of solutions. But if you are very, very small companies, ZipBooks or Wave Apps will be absolutely fine. Project management, you will need, of course, to use some task generator, who is doing what and who is responsible for what. So I suggest to use Open Project or the paid one. One of my favorite is Jira, where you have multiple departments. You see like a scorecard, who is where, and managing progress, where it's coming to and from. Human resource management, free one is an Orange CRM, but HRM, and one of my favorites, Zoho People or Sage HR. So managing your human resources, not only in terms of like bulletins or paid vacations. This is mostly inserting like talent development, also inserting like the progress and etc. Chatbots, there is a free one, Snatchbot or Zendesk, the most quite familiar for Georgians. So I would say that when we are implementing chatbots, don't forget that you should not avoid these human touch points, because not all the chatbots are working mostly with Georgian plugins. You need to be very careful with that, and don't automatize everything. At your early stage, I would have suggested at least, because some of these things you will be really missing if you are automatizing. For business planning, there is a strat part or paid one line plan, and email marketing, which is one of the least favorite tool for using in marketing campaigns, but still you can use a send pulse if you are quite sure in your content that open rate will be quite high, or Immersys or MailChimp that are quite good tools for early adopters in that scenario. But don't forget that email marketing requires quite good content in order to have an open rate. Open rate is around like 20% in email marketing. And if you have conversion rate like 5%, good job. So this is like benchmark. Don't think that out of your, I don't know, millions of emails, everyone will open or everyone will become your lead. So even if you are reaching 3%, good job. You are early adopter startup.